If you're seeking to rise into a chief of police position, whether that's in your current agency or a different agency than where you are currently employed, you should expect the topic of the organization's culture to surface. Here's how I would address a question on culture if I were pursuing a chief's position in an agency where I was not currently employed. When talking about the culture of an organization, we have to understand that culture in and of itself is not necessarily bad, and that culture actually helps us simplify the way we behave in a particular environment. Ideally, that comes from the police culture reinforcing the positive behaviors on an ongoing basis. Unfortunately, in some cases, the negative behaviors also get reinforced or gradually build up over time. So as your chief, in order for me to have an impact on improving the culture, I first need to understand where we are strong and where we need to improve. Once the areas of improvement are identified, we have to keep in mind that culture changes are often slow, and the more people are ingrained in the culture, the longer that this could take. But that does not mean that it cannot be changed in a positive way. The first thing I need to do as chief is to establish my vision and my expectation for the personnel in the organization. And that's not a one-time statement or something that just gets posted on a wall. It is a statement that must become a living and breathing document. Words that are part of the ongoing conversation and communication in the organization. Everyone desires a level of certainty, and certainty is about knowing where we're going. As the police chief, I need to be setting that tone, reinforcing that message, and especially making sure that my command staff is on board, understands, and supports that direction. Any deviation from that support at the top of the organization cannot be tolerated if we are to have any improvement in the organization's culture. With that in mind, I will be responsible for effectively influencing my top command staff to move in the positive direction that supports the vision that I have for this organization. And by the way, that vision is this police department will be the best police organization of its size in this area. Once that is declared, I then need to remove the mixed messages that exist in this organization. Mixed messages cause uncertainty and may cause personnel to unknowingly behave in a manner inconsistent with that which is desired. I believe a good example of this is when we say one thing but reward another. In other words, if we are repeatedly saying that we want our officers to engage in crime prevention, but only reward them based on their arrests and enforcement actions, we are likely to see less time spent on prevention. If, however, we reward our officers for their efforts in achieving statistical evidence of crime reduction in their area as well as arrests, we show that both are important and expected. The third piece in having an impact on culture of the organization comes down to accountability. It is not enough to reinforce responsibilities and expectations through a clear vision and the elimination of mixed messages. I must assure that there is an effective mechanism to hold personnel accountable to those expectations and responsibilities. We are a profession of integrity, and integrity loves accountability. Accountability encourages individuals to do the right thing because they expect a negative consequence if they choose to deviate. In order for the accountability system to work, I must concentrate in three areas: updated and accurate rules and regulations, developing and supporting all levels of supervision, and assuring that discipline, when warranted, is consistently applied. One last point. I do believe that change should not be made just for the sake of change, and I expect that I am going to find many elements of this organization's culture that are well functioning. You can expect that I am going to preserve those elements as long as they are aligned with the vision that I have established. That said, as your next chief of police, I will be responsible for improving this organization's culture, and I expect to be held accountable for that important function. For me to be successful in that area, I must effectively influence the personnel within the organization so that they serve the public in the professional manner that the leaders of this community expect and the public at large deserves. If you're getting ready to participate in a chief of police or command staff selection process and you believe you would benefit from my coaching services, go to finest.com and see if my police chief coach services are right for you.